Okay, so we have a test this Friday, so let's start reviewing. So today I'm going to review questions 51 through 54. This is something we have seen before. We need to sketch the graph of each function. Again, on my graphs, each square I'm counting by 1. On your graphs, you guys will be counting by 2s. Okay, unless you guys copy your own graphs, but on your choices, on my homework, on your choices, you're counting by 2. So be very careful on that. Okay, so now for me to create this graph, let me create some points. Now, I'm going to do a chart of x's and y values. So basically come up with coordinates, come up with points. My first number for x, for my y value is going to be 3. That's this number. That's the number I want to start with. Now, for me to come out with the next number, each time for me to come up with the next number, I'm going to multiply it by the base. So I'm going to multiply for the next number. Let me multiply by 2. So I'm going to come up with a few numbers here. My numbers are going to be 6, 12, 24. Remember, I start with 3. For me to come up with the next number, I multiply by 2. So 3 times 2 times 2 times 2. Now for my x values, I always start with 0 and then 1, 2, 3. And those are basically points. Now, if my base was a fraction, remember we multiplied, but we went backwards on the x. Okay, so if you guys need to review that, go back to my previous videos. So now here, let me plot this points. My first point is 0, 3. That's right here. Next point I have is 1, 6. Then I have the point 2, 12. And then I have the point 3, 24. Now that one I cannot graph. It's outside of my picture. So let me make my graph going through the points. Now, one thing, because my base, this case was a whole number, I expected my graph to be going up. Makes sense. If it was a fraction, I would have expected going down. On the left side, right, because it's going up, on the left side, it is approaching 0. It doesn't quite get to 0. And then on the y-axis, I cross it at 3. Yep, that's basically what I expected. Now, question number 52 is going to go backwards. I'm giving you guys the graph, and I want you to give me the equation. Notice on 51, the equation is y equals 3 times 2 to the x. So I want the equation from this graph. Okay, so I need to get values. So first of all, I'm going to think of the formula. The formula I'm going to be using is y is equal to a times b to the x. And I need to get values. I need to get points. My a is going to be, where do I cross on the y-axis? Sometimes I can cross at a point. Cool, that's going to be nice. Unfortunately, I cross on the y-axis right there. Can you guys see what's the y value? I don't know. Looks like 1/3 or 1/2. At this point, I don't know. So I'm not going to guess. I'm going to get points. I'm going to get some points. And I see this point. Any point that I see the coordinates of that one are 1, 1. That is that point. I'm going to use that. Okay. Now, I'm going to use this function that I have, y equals a times b to the x, because my point is 1, 1. I'm going to use 1 for the x value and y for the y value. I'm going to use 1 for the x value. I'm going to use 1 for my y value. Let me rewrite this. So I have 1 is equal to a times b to the 1. That's basically I have 1 is equal to a times b. Okay. Now, can I just say that 1 over b is equal to a? Right? Basically, I divided both sides by b. Okay, let me leave it at that. A is equal to 1 over b. Matter of fact, let me cross this. Okay, let me leave it at that. Now, let me find another point here. I see this point right here. The coordinates of this point are 3, 4. Okay. Going back to the equation, y is equal to a times b to the x. Notice now my x is 3, my y is 4. So let me write this as 4 is equal to a times b to the 3. Remember how we said earlier a is 1 over b. Can I also call that? So let me write this as 4 is equal to 1 over b times b to the 3. I just replace the a as 1 over b. Basically, I rewrote everything in terms of b. So I know this is 4 is equal to b to the negative 1 times b to the 3. Notice how I did b to the negative 1. So I have that 4 is equal to b to the second, right? Negative 1 plus 3 is 2. Now, let me do the square root because that's how I'm going to get rid of the exponent. The square root of 4 is 2, right? Nice, I have the value of b now. So matter of fact, let me box it because I'm going to use it. I'm going to use this value to figure out what a is. A is 1 over 2. Let me use this box right here. Now, remember how I said earlier, the graph, the function is going to be in the form y is equal to a times b to the x. I need to solve for a and b, and I already have them. So let me write this, my function, my answer here. Let me write this as y equals, instead of a, I'm going to write 1/2 times, instead of b to the x, let me write that as 2 to the x. That's it. Beautiful. Now, I'm working today up until 54, so let's take a look at number 53. I'll flip my page. We're going to sketch the graph, okay? First of all, I'm just going to look at this as y is equal to 1/4 times 2 to the x. I'm going to ignore that minus 2. I'm going to ignore that. Okay, that basically means moving the graph. So I'm just going to pay attention to this. So I know I'm going to create tables of x and y. And I know that when x equals 0, y is equal to 1/4. Right? That's basically this number. Okay, in order for me to come up with the next value of y, I'm going to have to multiply it by 2. So 1/4 times 2, isn't that 2/4, which is 1/2, times 2. That gives me 1. Okay, and then 2, 4, 8. I came out with values. Each time I had a value, in order for me to come up with the next value, I had to multiply by 2. Okay, my x values, I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 3, 4, and then 5. I see my coordinates here, right? You guys can see those. I'm gonna plot the points that I can. 0, 1/4. I'm not gonna be able to graph that. I know it's somewhere over here, but I'm not gonna bother. I'm not gonna graph that one. 1 and 1/2. Oh, that's about here. I'm not gonna graph that one either. Cannot estimate that well. But I can plot the other points, right? 2, 1, 3, 2, 4, 4, 5, 8. Now my function, I'm gonna do y is equal to 1/4 times 2x minus 2. Now this minus 2 basically means I'm going to move my function 2 places to the right. It's opposite of what we think, right? Minus means to the right. Plus is to the left. Now, when I move to the right, don't I have to just add 2x? So let me create my tables here, my x and my y table. Let me copy my same y values. I'm not going to do anything to my y values. So I'm going to do 1/4, 1/2, 1, 2, 4, 8. Again, I'm not doing anything to my y values, but on my x value, I'm going to add 2. So I'm going to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Notice I added 2 to my x's. When you move to the right, you basically add 2 to x. So I can plot the points that I can. 2 1/4, 3 1/2. I'm not going to deal with those, but I have the point 4 1, 5 2, 6 4. Oh, 5 2. Let me plot that in, right? 6 4 is right there. 7 8 is right there. And let me plot my points here. And about that. All right, let's take a look at this last one. I'm just gonna go with y is equal to 4 times 1/2 to the x. I'm gonna ignore the minus 2. So I'm gonna create x and y values. When x equals 0, y equals 4. Because of the 1/2, I'm gonna go backwards. So I'm gonna multiply by 2. So here I have the points 8, 16, but my x values are -1, -2. Now I'm going to do y is equal to 4 times 1/2 to the x minus 2. Let me do this really quick. My y values are my x values, are going to remain the same. By my x values, I'm going to subtract 2. So 14, 6, 2. So let me plot these points here. -2, 14. -1, 6. 0, 2. So it looks like that.